Thank you. Okay, team call, August 1st. So today we got 3 promo codes each. Again, more promo codes that are good for all of August. And I wanted to remind you that if you have an account for your husband, your mom, or anyone else, that you can use their codes as well. They're not specific to your coach account. So use them all, and hopefully that will help us get some more people on board for August. So I think this is a fun new thing they're doing. And definitely motivate your coaches to use them too, because I had more coaches on the Success Club boards in July than I have in a really long time because they got on board with the promo codes. So make sure to share that with your team. If you have one, if you don't, tell them it's a great time to sign up as a coach. Anyways. Okay, I am going to share tonight some thoughts from one of the keynote speakers at Summit. Her name was Jade Simmons, and I had never heard of her before because she's a classical pianist, and I am not into classical music. But she was super cool. She came out, and she is this beautiful, tall, thin black woman, and she has this giant blonde mohawk. And she started telling her story of how she became a classical pianist. Like, she kind of was like kind of a prodigy from what I understood. Like, she just got the classical music, she could play it. She hated her first few teachers because they were slow and they wanted her to go through these dumb books, and she could like already play most of it, you know, probably by ear, I don't know. Anyway, so she told a funny story, and then she got down to her main topic, which was, I feel like, owning who you are and owning the unique parts of yourself. Because here she was, this tall black, this black woman in college studying to be a classical pianist, and she said she was surrounded on one side by all these like annoying kid prodigies that are like 5 and 6 years old who can play classical music, and then all these like really old white guys. And then there's her, like this, young black woman, and she just didn't fit anywhere. So she kind of had to find her own place in that world because it's a very competitive place. There's not a lot of room for classical pianists. It's not like, pop singers where there's a bajillion and everyone listens to pop songs. She was in the a much more competitive field. And so I'm just going to share some of the thoughts, and then I'll come back to her story too. I have some slides. My slides are not pretty, but they just help me stay on track. So I always make them. So sorry for those of you who are like, want visually pleasant things. That's just not my jam. And I can't remember how to play the slides all of a sudden. Oh, right there. Okay. So part of her talk is being a transformation architect, and I'll get it back around to that. So she said the first thing you have to do when finding your place is to get rid of what's holding you back. Be okay saying goodbye to some things that hold you back, whether it's limiting beliefs, you're a mean girl. Work on letting those go. And I think part of that too is identifying those. I know this summer, as I've listened to Rachel Hollis's books, and right now I'm listening to Master Your Mean Girl, I'm kind of seeing that I still have a lot of limiting beliefs. I've worked on a lot of them because I've been coaching for a while, but I still have those limiting beliefs that hold me back. And one thing that I feel like I've found over the years as a coach is self-belief in your ability to do this job, to make an impact, is absolutely vital. And it's not something you necessarily just have to have right from the get-go. It definitely is something that you can develop. But as I look at the leaders in our network, you look at the top 10 coaches, you look at the elite coaches, they all have different backgrounds. They all present the Beachbody programs and business differently. But what they all have is like this incredible self-belief that they can be successful. So I feel like if you don't have that, you really need to work on that. But it's definitely something that you can learn. We need to understand our purpose. So purpose isn't the things that we do. Our purpose isn't to make workout videos, but what we're trying to do is make something happen in other people. So our purpose is the thing that happens in other people when they see what we're doing. We want them to take action, right? We don't want them to just look at our posts and be like, oh, good for her. Or make people feel like that we're just like, hey, look at me, I'm awesome. Like, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get them to take action for themselves based on what they're watching us do. So we need to change what they believe about themselves from the inside out. I feel like a lot of what Jade Simmons says also went along with something that Ashley Molstad and Emily Favre, they had a presentation too on being your own brand on social media. And one thing that they talked about too was having purpose with our posts, like educating people, making them laugh, or changing the way that they think or feel about something. So I feel like that goes along here with what she's saying too. Like, we have to help people change from the inside out, because we all know that a fitness journey is definitely physical. It's exercise, it's eating right. But if people don't believe that they can do it, they're never going to sign up in the first place. So that's kind of where our job starts. So we need to be transformation architects. We can't be in the business of transformations, which what Beachbody is. We're transforming people's lives so they can be happier, healthier, whether that's through weight loss or through business. We can't do that if we're not about the business of transformation ourselves. So we have to be changing ourselves in order to be successful at helping other people transform themselves. And not everyone is going to get what we're trying to do when we're trying to do it. When I first signed up, my husband was like, "Why are you doing this?" And I was just kind of like, well, I just want some extra money. You know, that really was my main motive for signing up. But as I got going and he started, I was sharing with him, you know, what Success Club was, and if I was hitting it, I was sharing with him how much my paychecks were, because they weren't going into a family account. I made a separate account for my Beachbody stuff. And once I actually started to have people sign up with me and bring in a paycheck, he was like, oh, okay. Like, he could finally kind of see what I was trying to do. And now, 5 years later, that I'm making more than I was making at my last full-time job, like, definitely the proof's in the pudding kind of a thing, you know? So don't let people get you down. Don't let the haters get you down. If your mom has no idea why you're all of a sudden exercising and putting posts on Facebook, they'll get it eventually. My mother-in-law one time said something about how I'm posting too much, because it was back when we had to post 3 to 5 times a day. And she's like, oh my gosh, you post so much on Facebook. And she didn't get it, but now she does. She's never bought anything from me. She's not interested in doing it for herself, but she understands why I'm doing it. So just be patient with those people. Know that you're never done. Your transformation is never finished. I'm not the same girl I was when I signed up 5 years ago. I'm not going to be the same woman in 5 years. You know, back then I was a mom of 3 kids. Now I'm a mom of 5 kids. When I started to coach, we didn't have any extra money for fun things, and now we have lots of wiggle room in our budget, especially now that my business is making not a lot of extra money, but extra money for our family. We're just in a completely different place financially as well. So if people can see you changing along the way, then they're going to be more likely to join you. So I think, and number 1 or 4, what I've got listed here, you can't expect people to accept your invitation if you aren't willing to be on the journey yourself. Like, obviously, that's one of our main 4 vital behaviors, right? Be a product of the product. I don't think just in your physical health, but also in your mindset and your lifestyle, like, all those things need to transform and change as well. So this is the part I loved about her talk. She talked about how she's in this space, right, as a Black young woman. She doesn't fit the mold. She has a hard time selling seats at her concerts. And then all of a sudden she realizes that she's not being completely authentic to who she is, because she also is a Black young woman who likes rap music and likes Missy Elliott. And so she started bringing all of her to the table in the stage. She told us to quit using the word just, like, I'm just a mom, I'm just an Emerald coach, or I'm just this. Like, we need to quit downplaying our roles in life, because if we don't feel like we have worth in the space that we're in, how is anyone else going to, right? Bring every part of yourself to every single table every single time, and bring more of yourself in. Don't be there to impress, but be there to impact. I feel like sometimes with my posts, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm trying to impress people with how consistent I am with my workouts, because that's the one thing that I've got down pat. But I need to find a way to impact people through that, rather than just being like, hey, I work out every day, aren't I awesome? I need to make sure that my posts when I'm sharing the fitness stuff is more like, hey, you can do this, like this can impact your life in a positive way. Serve as a reflection of what they can be, but not to compare, but to aspire. The last thing we want women doing is seeing us and being like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. Look at her, she's so fit. I'm a piece of garbage. I don't even compare. That's not what we want to do. So we want to make sure that our message is something that inspires people to take action for themselves, to believe in themselves, and not have something to compare themselves to. And I feel like we need to take that into account as well. When we're watching all these top coaches and we look at their Instagram pages and they're absolutely beautiful and their stories are funny and fun, and we just feel like, oh my gosh, we're not that person. We need to not do that either. I don't know at what point it was at Summit, but someone said if there's a coach, I think it might have been Rachel Hollis, she said Instagram's the place we go to compare ourselves. And we don't compare ourselves in the places that we're secure. Like if we're secure and confident in something, the last thing we do is go to Instagram to figure out what other people are doing. But I do this, like, I'm like, oh, I don't know what to post. So I go to like this macro coach I went to high school with. She's got a giant IG following, like 100,000 people. And she gets like 2,000 likes on all of her pictures. I go there when I'm like, I don't know what I should post today. And that's probably not a wise move. And I think someone said at Summit too to unfollow those people. Like if you know there's someone you go to and you end up comparing yourself to them, like unfollow them, quit looking at their page, start stepping into your own space and who you are. And then we need to get rid of the fear that we're going to lose people, and then the seats will fill up. And I want to show you something else with this. If I can. Where is my? So I took a video of Jade at Summit. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I'm hoping that this will. Okay, so this is her playing. Can you guys see this? So she starts out just playing Bumblebee from Beethoven, which is a song we all have heard. And she's just playing it, right? And she's rocking it. Like, look at this. It's amazing. But then she starts to bring in a little more of, oh, that is not what I wanted you to see. She starts bringing in, oh my gosh, why is it doing that? That's my before picture from a long time ago. Okay, we might just have to be patient and watch some of this. She starts to bring in some other aspects that are like authentic to just her. This is the Summit stage, by the way, for those of you who didn't get to go. See, she starts bringing in some mixed beats that she mixed herself.
Hey, Brenna.
Yeah.
We can't hear it.
Oh, sweet.
I thought it was just me, but
no,
looks like Katie can't hear it either, so it's just silent.
Okay. Well, you can see she's starting to rap too. So I wish you guys could hear it. Okay. Anyway, so she's playing, like you could see her hands going, and then she was like mixing beats on top of the piano, and then she starts to rap. So I'm pretty sure she's the only classical pianist probably in the country that does that. And she said once she started doing that, bringing all of her culture into her performances, the seats started filling up. And she hasn't had to worry about that ever since. So that really hit me up at Summit, because I realized when she was saying that, that there's things that I hold back, like as a coach. Like I love dessert and I eat dessert way too often, and I don't share that, like because I feel like, oh, I'm a health coach, like I can't show people that how often I eat dessert. And maybe that's like I should be better about not eating so much dessert, but it's also part of me, and it's also part of something that I really enjoy about life. And if you look at Ashley Mostad, of course, the top coach, right? She drinks and swears like a sailor, and she doesn't hide any of that. She shows her drinks in all her stories. She doesn't hold back on her language because that's her. And I think that she's brought a huge audience in because she's so authentic to herself. So I was thinking of some of the things that I don't share that are authentic to me because I don't feel like they show up as like what a coach would do. Maybe there's something like about yourself too that would actually make you more unique and help you stand out as a coach, but you feel like you don't share because it doesn't fit the mold of a coach. One more thing in her story that I really like was that she talked about this musical festival that she went to. She signed up for this huge musical festival. It was in Houston and super competitive. They only take a handful of people. And she was thinking like, what could I bring to the table? What's something that would be so different? And she put on her application that she would play classical music. She would mix her own beats, which at that point she had not done ever. And then she would rap. She had never done that either. So like totally jumped way out of her comfort zone. Her husband told her like, you better not bring shame on this family. You don't know what you're doing. You've never rapped before. And she didn't know how she was going to get there exactly, but she signed up anyway. And so she has this deadline, right? She has this festival and they accept her application. So all of a sudden she's got to figure out how she's going to do what she said she was going to do, even though she has no idea how she's going to get it done. And she said the same for us, like whatever it is that we want to do, if you want to be a diamond coach, you want to be a 5-star elite coach, you want to make $1,500 a month, like whatever your goal is, set it and set a date that it needs to be done by. And then she said, just start putting in the action because all of a sudden you'll start manifesting the tools that you need to accomplish the goal by the deadline. So she said, you have to like put it out there first, put out the date, put out your goal, and then start working on it. And then you know, the universe or whatever you want to say, things will come along and it can work for you as long as you make sure that you're putting in enough action to attain what you set out to obtain. So I thought that was really cool. So I have a few assignments for you, but do any of you that saw her, any of you want to share anything before I go to that point? No? Okay. If you think of something, let me know. I have a few like action items for us to do that kind of go along with what this talk kind of was about to me and how I'm going to apply it. So on the way home on the airplane, I went over my summit notes and I actually went back to summit from last year. It's so funny, Katie. I went to my summit notes from last year and I went to my new leader conference notes from February because I was super pregnant and then we moved the week I got home, and so I literally had done nothing with what I learned at new leader conference. And one thing that I had written down last year, you guys, was to start doing affirmations every day. And I still hadn't done it. Like a whole year later, I was so mad at myself when I realized like for a year that was on my action item list and I still hadn't done it. So the week I got home from Summit, I said, before I do anything else on my action list, I'm going to write affirmations because it seriously took me like 5 minutes. Write them down, stick them on my bathroom mirror, and start saying those. So that's your number one action item, is to write down some self-affirmations and write those and say them. And I know that sounds stupid. It's taken me a long time to like be open to even doing affirmations, but I've listened to Kate Schultes, Melissa Brewer, and a few other coaches who just took off this last year say that affirmations is one of the first things that they did to change the momentum in their businesses. So that's the number one thing I want you to do. The number two thing I want you to do is to intentionally identify what things in your mindset you need to work on so that you can get over your limiting beliefs. Are you always saying you're unorganized? Are you always sitting down to work and saying, I don't even know where to start? Are you saying you're not a leader? You wouldn't know how to train a coach if you brought one on. Like all these things that you can tell yourself that keep you from even starting or even thinking about going where you want to go with the business. And then number 3, I want you to ask yourself what it is you are hiding about yourself as you try to be that perfect coach. And ask yourself if you need to add that into what you're sharing so that you connect with your tribe through social media. So using Ashley Mostad as an example, she did give a talk about being your own brand at Summit, which is really good. If I can't figure out where they're posted, but I know they're posted somewhere. I'm going to try to figure that out if you guys want to watch. But she had like a paragraph. She knew exactly what she was. She was like, I'm a F-bomb dropping, drink loving, dog mom, girl mom, beauty product sharing. Like she knew exactly who she was and the things that she could share on social media that would connect with her tribe. So find those things. Like I say, for me, like I haven't been sharing how much like dessert I eat. Like that can be one of my things that I share. I also don't talk about my religion very much. What else do I not share? I don't feel like I share the hard parts of mom life as much. I don't know if you guys saw Jordan did an awesome post about that today. Was that today or yesterday?
It was today. Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't talk about the hard parts. I mean, I kind of feel like I try to make it like I gloss over the hard stuff sometimes, just to make it sound like, you know, the positive upbeat feeds that we want to be, but we also want to be really real and connect too. So there's a balance. Like you can share your struggles, but you need to spin them to win them and make people feel like they are safe in their struggles with you. Because like I said before, we don't want to be those people that are up here sharing our highlight reels, because we're trying to connect with people on a really real level. And so we need to make sure that we share all sides of the coin when we're posting. So ask yourself if there's some things that you need to share a little bit more of to be more real and relatable. And then the last thing I want us to get used to is being okay with connecting with just our tribes. There's no sense in me connecting with someone who, I don't know, like extreme, like she's a stripper, she doesn't believe in marriage, she thinks that we should never procreate and have children. Like that kind of woman's not going to be my tribe. I have 5 kids. Like she's not going to like me. So I need to be okay just finding my tribe, which is going to be a little bit more conservative, probably a mom, small town girls, that kind of a person. Probably likes to exercise, but really struggles to stay away from the sweets, because that's me, right? So, and that's one thing I've heard Keisha Fitzgerald say too, really helped her business take off. She decided she was really going to hone in on just her tribe. Like she doesn't even really try to work with moms. I know she has some mom coaches on her team, but she really is looking for people who are, you know, between 25 and 30. They're like barely married or in a serious relationship, maybe a dog mom, but not necessarily a mom. So like she was really honing in on her crowd, and we need to be okay with filling the seats with just our people that connect with us. Like Jade Simmons says, she says, you know, once she brought all of her to the table, the people that were connecting with her were the ones in her audience seats, rather than her trying to please everybody. Because Ashley Mostad said, if you're talking to everyone on social media, you're talking to no one. So we really need to hone in. And, you know, we hear this all the time, you know who your avatar is, know who you're talking to, like all that stuff. But it's harder to put into practice than it should be. But again, one thing that I feel like I want to work on, and something that I got from Jade's presentation at Summit. So challenge you guys to do those 4 things. Start with your self-affirmations. If you do nothing that I said, please do the self-affirmations. I've only been doing them for like a week and a half, and I already feel my mindset changing. Like one of my affirmations is that I'm a good recruiter, which I have always said for 5 years of being a coach is one of my weaknesses. And I'm all of a sudden feeling like, no, I can recruit. Like I totally can. And it's because I'm just saying that to myself every day. And also I signed up for coach accounts in the last 2 weeks, which I haven't done for months, you guys. And they're just discount coaches, but that's okay. It's still building the account that I need to build to get to 2-star diamonds. So it's definitely progress. And you can say that's a coincidence, or you can say that that's me manifesting through my mindset. So take it seriously and figure out what you want. And remember, affirmations need to be in the, you need to say them as if they have already come true. Like another one of mine is that I'm a 5-star elite coach. Like I'm not even close to being a 5-star elite coach, but one of my affirmations is I am a 5-star elite coach. Just say it like it's already part of your life when you write this. I think that's all I have. Does anyone want to say anything?
I can share a little bit of the post that you brought up today. I was thinking about it, like as I'm typing it out, and I was just going to do something kind of more vague, but then I thought to myself, no, I was looking at an Instagram post yesterday of a lady who was wearing matching bell-bottom pants with her kids, and it was so cute, and I felt myself feel that way. So as I was writing about this post, I was like, I'm just going to describe it, even though I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, bell-bottom pants or whatever, but I decided to throw in that detail, and I think it helped a lot. I mean, a lot of people message me and stuff, and just even when you think something's stupid to add in, if you think it's a minor detail, it's not necessarily like it just adds to creating that vision that you're trying to help somebody create.
Right. And I feel like if you're in that moment, if you're feeling something, it comes out in your writing, and I always get more interaction on those posts. And sometimes the posts that make me really nervous to post are the ones that I get the feedback on. So yeah, the more you feel it from your heart, the better. Not that every post was like, oh, just like you just like feeling it. But the first time I posted about MM100, I used a before and after picture of one of the girls in the test groups. And I don't know why, but I got so much, I was just really feeling that moment. I was so excited about MM100. I've been looking at transformation photos from the pilot group. Like I was so excited about it in that moment that I was writing that post. And I got great interaction on it on both Instagram and Facebook. But then I posted the same picture again, like 3 weeks later. And I mean, like it was okay. It wasn't a dud, but it just like was like, yeah. So I feel like, if you're in the moment and you think about it, then go for it. You can always take it down later if you want to. All right. Well, I will let everyone get back to their families and such. I want to know when you do your affirmations. You don't have to tell me what they are, but just say, let me know that you did them. And use the promo codes, and we'll keep rocking this biz. Let's stop recording. Oh, let's get a picture. I always forget when I'm in charge. Hey, Dari, can you be on video for a sec? Taylor? I don't know. Taylor might be at work. I don't know. Okay, everyone smile. Do we want to do a boomerang? Just a minute. What's a boomerang, you ask? Okay, everyone do something. 1, 2, 3, go. Perfect. All right, I'll tag those of you that I know your Instagram handles, I'll tag you. Hey, good night.